Hello and welcome to Kellyville Park for Magic Round. Boys out there today, and our first game of the afternoon is the Tigers taking on the Devils. And with the two games this afternoon, we've got two callers, so I'm here. Normally I'd be calling the girls' match of the round, but Lewis Shepherd is with me this afternoon in commentary. Great to have you here today, Lewis, and it's great to be part of the boys' action this afternoon.
Mate, pleasure to link up, and you're here for a belter of a game. We obviously have the Tigers here who have played the majority of the year a little bit undermanned, but a lot of players injected in the week before the finals, and Greystanes have been great nuisance value, a very, very tough team, and they're going to play again next week. So there's a little bit here to try and get an advantage on the opposition before a finals clash.
So we are expecting to see a little bit more from the Tigers than what we've seen so far this year because of they've got a little bit more depth today?
100%. There's a little bit of an unknown just because of schoolboy championships for league and union, and then some have had restrictions with their schooling, but a lot more available today, so almost like seeing a new football team.
All right. Well, we're just about to get underway, 30 minutes each way. We were meant to have 3 games on this field this afternoon or into the evening, but due to the New South Wales Cup being played here tomorrow, they're going to look after the field, and it'll just be the 2 games on this first oval. As the referee blows time on, and we're underway in the first of our 3 games as part of Magic Round, and straight away it is the Tigers going on the attack as they're able to recover the ball, and Capavilla was able to pick that one up, and they get Talafo to get the ball forward, and straight away they're going to set up 10 metres out from the Devils line. This time they go out to Robert, and he's only 5 metres out when he's pulled the ground. Now that ball's been stripped out with a few in the tackle, and the referee is going to rule that way, and it's a pretty good start for the Tigers.
Couldn't hope for a better start. The long and lean Jake Capavilla, the captain in the back row, comes up with the ball, and a great chance here to try and cash in.
So first play off the ruck, we go to Talafo, and he's met and pushed backwards, and he's tackled 8 metres out from the Devils line. They're going to come to Sorensen, and he's got a run off his shoulder. Again, they're only a couple of metres out. They're going to go back towards the centre, and again another run in the set for Talafo, and he's pulled down. Only a couple of metres out. What have they got? They've had a chance to set up here nicely. A couple of passes, they get it out wide. The ball goes out to Gabriel, and he's tackled. Still inside the 10, still a couple of tackles left as they go to Capavilla, and he hits it up right short of the line. Last tackle from dummy half. Kick through from Koinakis, but they're able to reset. So another set of 6 here for the Tigers. Another big chance. And Capavilla again charging the ball up towards the line.
Yeah, not the greatest of set ends, but a good result nevertheless. And in these tough conditions, keeping it simple, direct, short passing, or maybe some drop plays we watched in the flag game before might be the go.
So Koinakis into acting half, gets it out to Sorensen, and they're getting it out nice and wide. They've got numbers on this left-hand side, trying to get through is Setafano. He's pulled down. Again, quick play the ball. They head back towards the centre. This time it's Jackson, and Jackson's forced backwards and tackled just inside the 10. They go one pass off the ruck out to Perrott. Long ball out to Gabriel, who's got a couple of defenders to beat, and he can't, and he's tackled on the 10. And they haven't been able to score points after having 3 or 4 sets of 6 in a row.
No, a little bit hard in the conditions, again, getting used to it, but taking some petrol out of the Devils and a chance here to try and ramp up the line speed.
So the Devils, first chance with a football after some 2.5 minutes, and they're going to have to work it out of their own end. Some of the big boys are going to have to roll their sleeves up and get involved as they push the ball towards the 30. And this is a BB who's gets well and truly over the 30 and pushes towards the 40 before he's brought down. They're going to go back in towards the middle, and this is Gunther. And he played a big role in the Devils' win back in round 10 when they got over the top of the Tigers, 18 points to 16. Last tackle, kick over the top. Ball bounces down deep, but it's been well fielded by the Tigers, and they'll bring that one out from their own end.
And Saman on the ball now at fullback. Lorima Siu, a late scratching, it seems, from this one. Was named to play, but Saman has been outstanding every time we've seen him. And good first set by the Devils there.
Pretty important player too, CUCE for the Tigers.
Yep, dual sport player, school championships for both rugby union and rugby league. Got a big future ahead of him from all reports.
Okay, so let's see what the Tigers can do as they work this ball out of their own end. And it's Gabriel heading the ball up, but he's pushed backwards and tackled inside the 40. As they go out to Perrott, he's got Capavilla on his outside, and he gets the offload away, and down the touchline they go, and Stockham is tackled just inside that far touchline. A couple of tackles left in set. In fact, it's last. Ball goes up as Perrott kicks the ball high, but they're able to defuse it, and at the moment, end-to-end football, mistake-free.
Yep, good trade of sets in tough conditions and a good response by the year-young team on the back of not losing any confidence, having those repeat sets, but again, good spot to be in, taking some gas out of the Devils early.
You went out for a walk on the ground earlier. What's it like underfoot?
Well, without studs, I'd say it's absolutely horrendous. For them, it'd be slightly better, but no doubt just subtle changes of direction or playing short is definitely the go here today.
And we've already had one game here, Jersey Flag. The Eels went around earlier, as you mentioned, so the field is going to get plenty of traffic over the next 24 hours or so. As the Devils, they've got a chance to run down this right flank, and Beebe is tackled, trying to get a quick play of the ball as they head back towards Riley Brown, but the ball goes back to Harpus, who puts the ball on the toe, finds the ground again. He's going to roll dead. So a chance now for the Tigers with a 7-tackle set.
Yeah, the nightmare result there with the bounce. Thought maybe we'd get the chase through, but a 7-tackle set and a chance to go back to work here.
And let's see, as the Tigers try and run it out of their own end, and Capavilla puts his hand up, and he'll look for a quick play of the ball off the back of that as he heads up towards the 40. They're going to run through the centre, and this time it's Moses, and he's tackled just short of halfway. It's going into acting half as Koinakis, and he's got a runner on his outside, and they are now into Devils territory with a couple of tackles left. It's a long ball, and finds Jackson. Jackson makes 5 or 6 metres before he's hitting heavy contact. Still a couple of tackles left. They come the short side. They've got numbers. Kick over the top from Sorensen. Ball bounces kindly for the Devils, and they're able to defuse that one.
El Kadami, good work there in a tight corridor, trying to get the turning circle right under pressure. But again, good result there. Good yardage and chance to ramp up the line speed inside 20.
It has been set for set, and we saw that back in round 10 when these two teams played, and there wasn't much between them, only 2 points in the end. A narrow win to the Devils, and of course that was match of the round as well. So these two sides have both matched up a couple of times throughout the year, and the Devils winning both of them. Penalty to the Devils, and they're going to have a really good chance here to set up inside the Tigers' half.
And it's moments like this when you play a game in these sort of conditions where you've got that cycle where it's either an error or a penalty. It tends to break it and offer up opportunities, so see what they can do here, getting closer to halfway.
Riley Brown screaming out some instructions to his teammates, and El Khoury giving the ball over to Harpus, who gets El Maghi on the run, and he's inside the 40 on tackle 1. So good chance here to set up as we see Brown go for a scamper, and he's heading up towards the 20. Very quick play of the ball as they head back towards the middle, and again El Maghi's going to take the contact, and they're tackled inside the 20. They're going to come back to Big Gunther, and he's hit but able to get the ball away. Some second phase play. They're coming towards the line, trying to squeeze through as Lungy. There we see a headgear go flying, trying to push over, but it's last tackle. Gunther, one of the biggest acting halves you'll see. He's going to pick the ball up, and he gets the ball out to Brown. Brown puts it on the toe, but again, well fielded by the Tigers, and they're able to lay down and make sure that they stay in the field of play.
They did well to hold on there, particularly that short side raid starting with Brown, who got the momentum moving, but nice ball there by Gunther, as you said. Not very often you see such good service from a prop, but Brown's kick just short of the in-goal.
So, what can they come up with? The Tigers, they're having to do plenty of work as Capavilla puts his hand up. Geezer He's a really willing player, likes to get his hands on the football. As Koinakis decides to put the ball over the top. The ball's only bounced just over halfway, and a chance now for the Devils to really set up and have another shot at this Tigers line.
Wait for a penalty here. No, it's been called a knock-on, so a bit of a dodge bullet there and a bit of a contest. It was a one-on-one tackle, but referee has sided with the Tigers. Under pressure, going with that early kick, like you said, trying to break that field position battle, but now dished up a golden opportunity.
And great to see the three officials in today's game, all female, in charge of this under-16 ones game. As the Tigers will get the scrum right on halfway. Big line set to the left. And they're going to come to Perrott, who's got on his outside Saman, and he's tackled right on halfway, so not too much territory made off that first tackle, but now Capavilla, another willing run, trying to get to his feet to play this ball. He was able to keep his hand on the football as he was trying to get to his feet. This time they go back to Manua, and he's up inside the 40 as they burn another tackle. Koinakis, not great service, but Talafo's able to reel that one in, and he's going to be tackled on the 30. Again, they're going to go to the right-hand side. This time it's Perrott with a kick over the top. Well picked up, and now the Devils, well, there's going to be a penalty. Looked as though there was just a high shot, player going to ground, and he's copped a knock and penalty for the high contact.
Yeah, a bit of a size difference and maybe just a love tap there when you stick out the old straight arm. Don't think there's a whole lot in it, but again, an opportunity to at least chew off an extra 10 or so metres. Otherwise, would have been a chance to really apply the pressure inside 10. 10
minutes gone in this first half, still 0-0, and hasn't they haven't found touch. That's an absolute shocker. So Tigers, they get another chance as we see Saman running into the defence, and he's inside the 40. So chance here, slow play the ball. Koinakis gives the ball out to Sorensen, who goes back on the inside. That ball was juggled but well held. And a chance now. They've got options both sides of the ruck. They come back through the middle. This time Talafo is up towards the 20. They've got players on both sides. They get it out to Capavilla. He busts through one line but brought down by Gunther. They're going to go the short side again. Perrott has got numbers, gets it out wider, but there's no room through for Saman, and he is tackled. Last tackle. Ball goes to Perrott. Puts the ball through. He's hit as he kicks it. Referee's going to let it go. Tigers didn't ask too many questions of the Devils' defence there.
No, only got that one sort of shot off that right-hand side shift shape there, but well read, and Saman was shut down, and now coming out of yardage, things getting a little bit messy, but the play 5 kicks inside 10 just need to be slightly better. You want to try and at least get it to the in goal.
Yeah, Levi he's had a couple of opportunities and just off target at the moment as the Devils are working the ball out, and that's El Margi again. He's done plenty in attack for his team today as the ball this time comes out to Lohai, and he's tackled outside the 30. Scamper from dummy half. Might have tried to catch the marker, not square. Referee says it's okay. Last tackle, they go out to Bastani. He puts the ball down deep. This is going to bounce over the head of the fullback, but in the end, Saman goes back and cleans it up. And a chance now, look, there's a broken field play, but quickly they are able to line up the Devils and make that tackle.
It was a great nudge by Bustani. They sort of lost their way the first few tackles, but from the 40 to get it right down to the in goal there, good result to flip field position.
So they're going to just try and work this ball through the centre with the wet conditions. We haven't seen too many trick shots. It's been set for set, looking for the mistake. As Perrott getting a runner back on the inside, but there's not a lot of room to move. They are moving as a group, the Devils' defence, as the Tigers try and get the ball up over the 40. Here goes Capavilla again. Takes 2 or 3 players to bring him down each time, and he's tackled on halfway. They come back on last tackle, and Levi puts the ball up nice and high. It's going to find the ground, but it is picked up by the Devils. Nice, kindly bounce for El Kadomi, and he's able to get back and get his side on the front foot, but a good, strong tackle by Perrott.
Very easy to see why Capavilla is sought after on both sides of the fence from Union and League. Some very good carries, some nice line running, and he's going to turn into a physical specimen with the next few years.
Mistake at dummy half, picked up by El Khoury, and he's left it behind. So that sometimes you pick up little turning points in the game. Still scoreless after 13 minutes, and they were doing everything right, but now all of a sudden it's a chance for the Tigers to maybe get Capavilla out on that right edge, running at some of the smaller players to try and create numbers.
Yeah, and that's the second time they've had an error as they're about to cross halfway and offered up good field position. So I know it's been tricky conditions, but multiple sets now and almost halfway through things here in the first. You'd like to think they've got a better grip on what they can and can't do with the football.
So they go to the right. Perrott has got Gabriel on his outside, who beats the first tackle and gets the ball away. Here goes Stockman down that wide flank, and he is brought to ground as referee's going to blow penalty. So Devils in trouble again. So Stockham made that great run down the touchline, picks up the penalty as well, and a chance now for the Tigers.
Gabriel's been a handful on most of the match rounds that we've seen him, but just good physicality there to break through and find the offload, and a penalty with a bit of an extra effort to get to the touchline. Golden opportunity here.
So Capavilla, he takes the first hit up and settles it down for his team. As the ball comes out to Sorensen, who's got runners on his outside. Great flat ball, finds Jackson. Jackson just brought down. First question asked of the Devils' defence, they're up to the task. Quinakis gets into acting half, gets the ball out and finds Manua, and he's tackled. Not too much room to move. Again, they're going to go to that right-hand side. Ball goes to Perrott. He's got Capavilla on his outside. Capavilla trying to get through. He's just short. Good strong run again as they go from acting half. They've got numbers, and it was just a simple case of catch and pass, and over in the right-hand side of the field is Gabriel.
Yeah, and you look at the back of what's happened again. Just a bit of width off a quick play of the ball, and you've got Capavilla drawing in extra numbers, and Quinakis, good dummy half work, jump in, see the space on the outside, keep it simple, play short, and crashing in is Gabriel, who started the movement to get them down inside the attacking field position to start with.
You got the feeling that was coming after the mistake on halfway. They obviously then made that break, but just as though that on the right-hand side, they're very strong.
Like we talked about, when you're in the trade of going cycle set for set footy, it's either the penalties or the errors that end up being the point of difference. 2 errors inside their own half, offering up that extra field position. The petrol that was taken out the first 3 or 4 sets of the game, it all starts to take its toll as you move further and further into the half.
Okay, coach running a few changes. Big Josh Savins has come onto the field, and so too is a Shama. He's come onto the field as well as Perrott tries to convert. Yeah, that's the extras. That's a good kick, especially in these wet conditions, holding your footing. So I'd be happy with that. That try brought to you by Omnia Business Solutions for all your accounting, bookkeeping, consulting and payroll needs.
Yeah, no surprise again with Levi Perrott. At the King's School, very, very handy kicking game, and another one who is a dual player on both sides of the fence with Union and Rugby League, but a lethal left foot.
So you mentioned earlier, the Devils currently sit 4th, Tigers 5th, top 5 go through to the finals, and these two are locked in for first week of the finals next week. So not sure whether the coaches will be showing everything they've got up their sleeve this week.
No, there'll be a couple of players back on deck on both sides for next week. Corey Abutuma, the halfback, is out today, and there's a couple others that were late scratching, as is the case for the Tigers. They might have another 1 or 2 to come back. So just a little bit of a jab and a warning shot potentially today to one another, but looking forward to next week.
13 minutes to go in this first half. It's the Tigers 6 leading the Devils 0. As we're here for match of the round, of course, Magic Round here at Kellyville, and the 3 under-16 games all on the one day. As Perrott, he's giving the ball out to Capavilla, who's over the top of the 40. And trying to get a quick play of the ball. They're able to slow that one down, but they come back to Manua, who is up over halfway, trying to bust through, nearly got his arms free, but was unable to do so. Quinakis looking, finding who his kicker is. He gets the ball back to Perrott, and that big left foot gets plenty of air underneath that one, chasing through hard of the Tigers, but well taken by El Khoury. And now it's the Devils have got to get back and do some of the hard work now.
Yeah, the all-important set after points. You always want to get to your kick, and a great result in these tough conditions. And first couple of plays here, starting to look a little flat are the Devils. Yeah,
they need one of their big boys to get in and do some work, as we see Dervisevic back slammed, and he's forced to play the ball inside the 40. Better run this time as they head up towards halfway. And that is Tidyman in the 14 jersey. Last tackle. Devils still 45 metres out. Ball goes back to Brown. He puts the ball nice and high. Plenty of air under this one. Saman's able to catch it inside the 10 and now work it back towards the opposition. Breaks the first tackle, comes to the second line of defence, and he's ragdolled to the ground 20 metres out.
Yeah, he's been good at the back so far, Saman, and in the games prior when he's had opportunities to play out there, certainly does not shirk the task when he gets involved in yardage.
So the Tigers, they lead 6 points to 0. They're going to try and go through the middle. Referee's got the Devils all inside the 10 on this right-hand side of defence, and this is going to put the Tigers in a really strong attacking position.
Another one of these opportunities, again, like we talked about, when you're getting in that back and forth, straight after points, it's only taken one set to break that cycle, get an opportunity to kick yourself back into the attacking half, and another golden opportunity to try and get some points.
Left foot of Parrott gets them inside their attacking half, in fact 40 metres out, as they take a quick tap, and the referee says high shot. So quick tap, no. The referee says no, we'll go back. So again, Tigers, they're going to get a chance to kick further downfield.
Setafano, the 18, very impressive also in all the match of the rounds that we had. Lots of yardage work, dangerous when they get him the football in space, and there just takes on his opposite number and clipped a little bit high, but it's been a good matchup so far.
How many tackles will it take for them to go to the right and find Capavilla running through? As again, the Tigers are on tackle 1, 10 metres out. Slow play the ball. Koinakis picks it up. They go to the right this time. Parrott has Capavilla there, and they're all over him like a fly to a sausage sandwich. There's no room to move for him this time. 3 defenders there to take him to ground. Come back towards the middle, and this is a Serra, and he is tackled just short of the line. Koinakis looking both sides. He finds Sorensen on his left. Sorensen goes to pass, dummies, goes to ground. He's only a couple of metres out. There's still a couple of tackles left in the set. They go to the right this time. Manua looked to pass, but then decided to hold the ball and try and go through the middle. Still a couple of tackles left in this set. They go to the right. Parrott gives it back on the inside to Capavilla. He shrugs the first defender, gets it out to Koinakis, who is then tackled. And last, what have they got? Capavilla's going to go the short side and give it out to Parrott. Gives it to Saman, who puts it on the toe. Great piece of football from Jacob Saman. There wasn't a lot doing for the Tigers, and all of a sudden he puts the ball on the ground and then is able to pick it up really well, and they've scored again.
Just when you thought they'd ran themselves into a cul-de-sac, you've got Saman there with some quick thinking, puts it on the toe. The ground, like I said before, underfoot, almost lost both of my shoes, so it's pulled up nicely, and then he's gone airborne. Got the legs out from under him in that frontward dive to clean up, but good urgency, good idea, and again, on a loaded short side with not much doing, he certainly got them out of the cul-de-sac there. And
it is that right-hand side of the field again, where they have decided to go. So obviously a strength of the Tigers as Parrott lines this one up. That try brought to you by Omnia Business Solutions for all your accounting, bookkeeping, consulting and payroll needs. Parrott, plenty of height under his kicks. He's kicked it. 12-0 in favour of the Tigers over the Devils. And just repeating, they have not beaten the Devils this year. It's the 2 games this year, and the Devils have won both.
Yeah, it's been a tight contest in both. And like you said, the last match that we had, they were both short on troops, but had an absolute barn burner. But Tigers here today, like I said, a couple of troops back on board. You can see things at times maybe just a tad clunky, but you expect that with lots of change. But some good signs as they work their way to the back end of the half here, and confidence is building.
So, chance for some of the big boys to catch their breath. And they're going to get us back underway. Ball goes down deep. And now Tigers are going to work it out from their own end. Good strong defence, pushing the Tigers back inside their 20. Slow play the ball as well as they head back towards the middle, and Moses this time trying to help out his forwards, give them a bit of a breather. Again, plenty of arms in the air, looking for a penalty with the slow play the ball, but not forthcoming as they head up towards that 30-metre line. ground just starting to get a little bit cut up as Perrott goes to the right again, and this time it's Gabriel. He's already got one try for the afternoon, but he's well held on that occasion. Ball goes back to Perrott inside the 40. Plenty of air underneath it. Well picked up by Elkadomi, and not a lot of depth on that kick, as they're going to get a chance to set up only 35 metres out from their own line.
Yeah, he didn't quite get it as clean as he'd like with that left foot. He's definitely got usually a very strong long kicking game, but again, set after points to completion, that's a positive, but under duress in their own half now.
All right, let's see what they've got. Harpus is calling the shots there at acting half. He's going to come back towards the centre as Brown looking for a runner underneath, and finds Shammer, who is up towards the 40. Gets a clean play of the ball. Brown again. He's got numbers on his outside. The ball comes out to Elkadomi, and they're able to bring him down. That's last tackle. So El Margi's going to play acting half this time. And he finally gets the ball across to Riley Brown. Not the best of kicks, but they're able to force that one back. Be wary of the second kick. Referee says offside, and the Tigers are going to get the penalty.
Yeah, unfortunately, things break down there, and an opportunity again just to take stock, have a breath with 5 minutes to go. And the 12-point lead here, and Perrott from the 30 snapped off a clean 20 last time. He might be able to kick him straight back into good ball here.
Just not the best of service on last tackle. Just put Riley Brown under a bit of pressure, and the kick just wasn't great. And let's hope that doesn't come back to haunt them. As you mentioned, we're in the shadows of half-time, only 5 minutes to the break, as it's Capavilla putting his hand up again. And Jake is getting them onto the front foot, trying to get to his feet for a fast play of the ball. And he's already 40 metres out from the Devils' line. Not much room to move through the middle as Sarah goes for a run. They're going to come to the left this time and try and give themselves some space on the right as Sorensen tries the old show and go, but there's nowhere through there. As they head back to Jackson, and Jackson tries to get straight to his feet and play the ball. Sorensen, and he's got numbers on his outside, finds a willing runner, and they're only 10 metres out. Last tackle. They're going to go to the short side. Sorensen got numbers, puts the ball over the top. Chase is coming through, kicks too big, and the Devils survive.
You can see what he's trying to do there. They had the double pump initially, thought he might play short or chuck one long, and then thought maybe he could just sneak one in behind the winger, but one too many wheat bix, and that one ends up in over the sideline.
So you think another try before half-time would just about break the Devils' back, but let's see what they can do. They've got their hands back on the football.
Good carry.
Yeah, really strong run as they try and work it out. And Xavier getting in there and showing his forwards how it's done. This time it's El Margi doing his job. Another strong run too. So all of a sudden they're trying to swing the momentum of the game at the moment as they trail by 12 as Savins is able to hold onto it, but he's absolutely nailed. Lined him up and didn't miss him as they come back through the middle. And this time it's Shammer. And he's tackled. Still a couple of tackles left in this set. They're going to come to the right-hand side. Riley Brown kicking a tackle early and is able to find the ground and put some pressure on Jacob Seaman, but he's able to field it and then deal with that first line of defence.
Well, everything but the kitchen sink in that defence, the one before, and a massive change coming up here. A late arrival is Tommy Jackson, the front rower here, who usually does a hell of a lot of damage to the middle of the field, so that's a very, very handy player to be coming on at this point in the game.
Okay, so we'll keep our eye on Tommy as he gets onto the field, only 3 minutes out from half-time, as Gabriel, again, big step, tries to break the defence, but he can't. Oh, he's able to get a pass away, though. And here we go. Jackson with his first touch of the game. And he's taking 3 tacklers with him as he runs the ball up towards the 40. They're going to go that short side again. Oh, Capavilla, first mistake of the afternoon, clangs off his knee and unable to pick it up. So here we go. Devils a chance with only 2.5 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, best chance they're going to get after being pretty much in their own half for the majority or kicking from inside their own half. Massive opportunity to try and take something into the half with them.
So again, they're going to try and rumble through the middle and then give themselves some room on the edges as we see the ball played on the 30. Brown, he's got numbers on the outside. They get the ball out to Ajiri Abibi, and he's tackled just outside the 20 But they're on this right-hand side of the field as they head back towards the centre. And pushes off one defender. Muggy can't go much further as they look for a quick play of the ball, and they'll head to the left. Brown's got numbers. He gets the ball out a little bit wider to Bustani, and he tries to get the ball away. What's the referee going to rule here? There's plenty of hands in the ruck. It looks as though Devils are going to turn the ball over. Just tried a little bit too much.
Yeah, long left side shift. You thought things were building quite nicely, but the juggle there and the contact simultaneously and a knock-on into contact called. And a minute and a half here and things ticking down post the scrum. Tigers likely to have last possession of this first half here.
What can the Devils do in the second half to get back in this game? They don't look likely with the ball in hand, and the Tigers, they've definitely had the better of this first half.
Well, the bigger thing is just those few moments, like those errors that offer those opportunities, and obviously the first 3 or 4 sets at the start took some petrol out, but in the conditions, again, back to the cycle and try to force an error or a penalty to get an extra opportunity.
Stockham taking a hit up and doing some work for his forwards, and the backs have been very strong for the Tigers this afternoon. Gabriel's been good. Saman has been great at the back, so they're doing their jobs. Now, that ball might have come off one of the Devils' players. There's 6 to go it is. So a chance now for the Tigers again, trying to get through but can't. And with only 35 seconds left, this will be the last set of the first half. And what have they got? Have they got a trick shot up their sleeve? We're about to find out. Quick play of the ball. Kornakis picks it up. And he's tackled just inside Tigers' territory. They go to Perrott. He's got a runner on the outside. They find Saman, gets it to Gabriel. Gabriel unable to bust the line this time. 10 seconds left. It's only time for maybe one more as they find the ground. Capperville tackled, tries to get to his feet to play it. There goes the siren. The ball goes to Perrott. He dummies and throws it out to Sorensen, who's got numbers on the outside. They get the ball out and they find Moses. Moses puts the ball on the toe, and the Devils are able to pick that ball up. Moses makes the tackle, and that's half time. So Toongabbie lead 12 points to 0 over the Greystanes Devils, and a couple of tries, one to Jacob Saman, one to Tristan Gabriel, and Perrott has been perfect with the boot 2 from 2 in the first half.
Yeah, good contest, good back and forth. Like I said, probably the big differences so far, the back-to-back sets early on to build some pressure, then those couple of errors in the middle of the half gave opportunity for the Tigers to try and go to work, and they've cashed in a few times, and Tommy Jackson, a late arrival onto the field, like I said, only strengthens the middle. Plenty more improvement for them, I think, in the second half.
So this is the first game of the afternoon, and then you'll be back with the second game just after this one?
Yep, we'll be back on board. We'll have a look at the clash for the minor premiership between the Wolves and Parramatta. Whoever wins today will get that precious week off in this age group where they play so much football and they've got injury and extra commitment, so massive advantage.
All right, so we'll be back with that game, of course, second half of this, and then we've got that big game coming up straight after that at 5 o'clock. Take a break and be back with the second half in just a moment. So back for the second half in the first of our Magic Round games. Of course, final start next week, and we've got a good one here. The Tigers are leading the Devils 12-0. The Devils have got to come up with something early in this second half to get themselves on the front foot.
Yeah, most definitely. They were offered a couple of opportunities of their own, but both early struggled to sort of cash in and figure out the wet weather. We saw the flag game before. Mostly it was either playing short, dropping back under against the grain and trying to catch people out. Tigers obviously figured that out and sort of had their couple of opportunities off the back of some errors and penalties, but for the Devils, that last sort of 15 or so, most of it had to play to their own end.
And looking forward to the second game, lights have just come on here as well, so second game will follow at 5 o'clock, so quick turnaround in that one. But it looks as though the Devils are ready to go. Referee blows time on, and second half is underway as Elkadomi gets that ball down deep. It's been fielded, and Saman is going to return it with interest and get outside the 20 on tackle 1 and getting away from the centre of the field. But they'll come back towards the middle, and Sarah is taking the first of the hit-ups back through the middle. Here goes Jackson, and Jackson crashes through the first line. He only turned up with a few minutes to go before half-time and gets his hands on the football early in the second half. As they go through the middle. Here goes Manua. He's able to beat the first line and the second. He's got support on the outside, gets the ball out to Acera, but Riley Brown comes back and is able to make that tackle inside the 20. Koinakis, quick play the ball, gets it out to Sorensen. He's got numbers on the outside. They get the ball out and getting it out wide. It's Moses in the corner. It was just a simple case of numbers. They had them on the outside, and Harrison Moses has been able to score in the corner.
And it all starts with the carry of big Tommy Jackson, who unfortunately looks like after that short stint may have an ankle injury here. He's been helped off by the orange shirt, but that play the ball leads to Manua, fleet-footed, bursts his way through the line, and then that left side shift, good hands and cleaned up. Jackson out to Moses, and you couldn't ask for a better start to the half.
So they now lead 16 points to 0. It's the toughest kick of the afternoon for Perrott. Try brought to you by Omnia Business Solutions for all your accounting, bookkeeping, consulting and payroll needs. We won't see Tommy back this afternoon. I'm trying to get him to the sideline, and they're going to need a second trainer to assist him over to the sideline. So that's not good signs with finals only a week away.
No, and he's another one again. Dual sport at Barker, Union and Rugby League, and just about the majority of this team playing up an age group here are all in the Eels system, and you can understand why, but that would be a massive blow if this is to affect his ability to play in the finals.
So Perrott, again, plenty of air under the ball and kicks it. So the left footer, he is on target today. They lead 18 points to 0. They had to chair Tommy Jackson off while that kick was being taken, and you might have heard the cheers from the crowd. They're giving him a nice round of applause as he left the field.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially, like I said, in the 3 or 4 carries he had only in that 5-minute stint, making a massive impact on this one. But fingers crossed for him. It's not as bad as it seems, and he's going to be involved in the finals, but that's a big blow.
So these two sides will meet in week 1 of the finals next week. So it's 18 points to 0 in favour of the Tigers at this stage. There's still 27 minutes to go, and a big win. Another couple of tries here for the Tigers, and it's got to play on the Devils' mindset for next week, even though they might not be showing everything they've got.
Yeah, well, like I said beforehand, there is a couple of players missing, but any sort of advantage you can get here or try and leave a mark before you've got a match up again is a positive. And for the Tigers, that one to kick the second half off is obviously, again, pushing things in the right direction.
Isaac gets a bit of air under this one. Ball bounces and it's picked up by Gunther, who was able to get through very quickly from the kickoff. So here we go. The Devils have a chance. They get the ball out. This is El Muggy going for a run, and he's only 5 metres out when he's pulled to ground. They're going to come back through the middle. Brown juggles it, takes it, and in the end succumbs in the tackle. But they're in the centre of the field. They've got options both sides. They're going to go through the middle, and again it's Gunther. He takes 3 defenders with him, and he's tackled just short of the line. Getting into a dummy half, Harpus, as he's going to come back 10 metres. They've got numbers on the outside. They get the ball out to Lungy, and he's brought to ground and trying to get to his feet. Slow old play the ball. They head back towards the centre. Savins takes a couple of defenders with him. He's over the line but held up. Tried to back his way over and get the ball down, but he couldn't get that ball down, so they're able to reset again.
Savins and Gunther, both St. Dom's boys, and play a bit of basketball, and that height came in handy off that short kickoff.
They're very similar too. They, in stature, with that height, they would be very handy basketball players. As Savins is trying to get this ball back to play it for a second time, and Harpus in an acting half. Gets the ball away, a couple of passes off the ruck to Brown, who puts the ball over the top. Chasers coming through, but so too is Harrison Moses, who knocks the ball dead. And a chance again for another set for the Tigers, for the Devils.
Yeah, good result there off the back of all this momentum from the kickoff there. Put the pressure on during the set, almost crashed over, held up, and now the repeat. Need to get a blow in here to get themselves back in the contest.
Parrott gets the ball down deep and headed towards the sideline, but it was well fielded, and they're coming back through the middle as a strong run by Alex Elmaghi. Takes a couple of players with him as back through the centre, Lungy this time, and trying to wrestle his way away from a couple of them, but isn't able to do so. Parrott held on around the bootlaces as Harpus goes to Brown, looked to bring someone back on the inside, and then throws a pass at the feet of Ajiri Abibi, and he's put the ball down. So any chance the Devils had in that set of six has gone up in smoke.
Yeah, and then off the back of the short kick off the dropout, and again starting to pay those points back and take a little bit of gas out of the tank. That error gives them a bit of a reprieve, a chance to have a break here at the scrum and go back to work.
So just organising the back line is Levi Parrott. He's sent Jacob Saman onto the left-hand side of this scrum. And ball's fed, and they're going to come out to Parrott. 3-on-3. They should be able to shut this one down, the Devils, and they do, as Parrott goes to ground on tackle 1. Now, we're going to see a replay of that play the ball. Again, this is a third time. So Levi plays it, and Koinakis finds one of his runners, and good strong defence from the Devils. Not a lot of room through the middle, as again Capavilla tries to get his side going forward. Motion to slip the ball away, decided better of it, and he's tackled on halfway. They're going to go to that left-hand side again. Good hands from Shama Asera, and he's tackled. So they head back towards the centre. Again, good hands. This time from Robert. And he's got the ball away. Chance now for Koinakis, who's tackled inside the 30. They're going to come to the short side to Parrott, who puts the ball on the ground, but it's well fielded by El Kadomi, and El Kadomi is able to defuse the situation.
It's a good set. Started that Capavilla carry after having to get the play the ball mark going backwards a couple of times, and again, like they did in the first half, going to work with their line speed.
You can just see Parrott doing the right things, just taking control. His side's got an 18-point lead, and he's just putting the ball on the ground through the line, making sure that those kicks are putting his side in the right spot to start their defensive sets.
Definitely, he's kicked pretty well today, bar that one in the first half. He probably need to get a bit more purchase for, and after missing a couple of short kicks first up, his goal kicking and his general play kicking's been outstanding. So
they go to Gunther, and the Devils try and get going, get on the front foot, and that's a good way to start with Big Hayden rolling over the top of the 40, trying to get to his feet to play the ball, and he does. And it's the 1-2 punch as Savins is now taking the next hit up. They go out to Brown. He motioned to kick, but then went out a little bit wider, and they find a BB, and he's trying to bust through the line, but there's no way through the Tigers' defence. Again, slow play the ball. Chance to catch a breath as Dervisevic takes a run, and still a couple of tackles left as they come back towards the middle. And Elmaghi was able to get to his feet very quickly and play the ball. They're going to come to this short side, and there's numbers here. They've got 2-on-2, flick pass. Ball's hit the ground. Pretty tough on the lower, and in the end, the ball's been knocked on.
Yeah, they had good momentum working to the middle of the field there, and got the shift play obviously out to the edge, but the flick pass from Bustani just under pressure and low at the ground in these tough conditions, and unfortunately unable to handle. But El Margi certainly making a difference with the carries he's got. He started that one with the momentum he created through the middle.
10 minutes gone in this second half, and we've just seen the one try as the Tigers have stretched their lead to 18 as Parrott calls for the ball on the from the scrum base, and going to head back towards the centre. As Gabriel takes a settler and this gives his forwards a chance to catch their breath. Capavilla doesn't need that. He's trying to get the ball through the middle, but then has the ball taken away from him. Referee's going to rule a knock on. So, well, the Devils, if they needed a chance, this is it.
Well, he's certainly been destructive with every carry, and thought that one might have popped out the back, but referee calls knock on, and like you said, golden opportunity again. 20 still to go here, a good chance to fight their way back in, and you couldn't ask for a better spot for a long right side shift here.
Bastani going in to the second row. Sorensen being told to stay on his side of the scrum as Brown gets a runner back through the middle, Dervisevic, and he's tackled right in the centre field, 30 metres out, as El Margi goes for a run, and he's taking the ball up towards the 20, and they've going to go through the middle as Harpus goes for a quick dash, and he's brought down 10 metres out. Come to the left-hand side. They've got numbers here. They give it out to Kadomi. And the ball has hit the ground, and now the Tigers, well, again, there wasn't a lot of shape in that set.
Looked like he might have found a bit of a crease there, but unable to handle the football, and his legs went out from under him, and a golden opportunity passes them by. Let's see if they can at least try and start winning some cycle and field position here and try and get themselves in opportunity positions to get some points.
So Moses did the last hit up, and they go back to Capavilla, who tries to run over the top of Tidy Man, but Tidy Man hanging on to him. Also in there to lend a hand was Savins, as they head to the left, but the referee has seen that right-hand side of the field for the Devils all up inside the 10, so a chance again for the Tigers to go on to the attack.
And it's that compounding effect again when you start to build some pressure and you get yourself in field position, but then you go the handcuff of error penalty and invite this team straight back into good ball. It's very dangerous territory here for the Devils.
And Parrott finds touch 43 metres out from the Devils line as they're going to throw the ball back to Moses, and he just decides to go straight into the defence and a quick play the ball too, as this time it's Jackson, and he's up towards the 20, and again quick play the ball. Koinakis taking it, acting half, he's trying to run through the middle of the ruck, and he's brought down inside the 10. They're going to go to the left-hand side. Sorensen puts the ball through on the toe, knocked dead by El Kadomi, and good little kick, put some pressure on the Devils' defence, but they're able to knock that one dead.
Yeah, and again, just that compounding effect of handcuffing and error to a penalty, and now they've taken advantage of that field position with the dropout. It's just more and more petrol, more and more time, and more opportunity that's going by the wayside for the Devils. And Talafo back on the field to make an impact here. Massive chance to really put the nail in the coffin.
You'd have to think that he'd have his name on a couple of these hit-ups in this set of 6 if they're able to corral the kick, which they've been able to do. And here he comes. The big fella winds up and gets to the 20 on tackle number 1. Koinakis is going to call them back through the middle again, and this is Robert. And he's up over the 10. Koinakis again goes to Parrott. Gets the ball out to Saman. Saman one-on-one, beats the first line. Can't get the ball away. And he's tackled 5 metres out. Gabriel finds Parrott. Gives it to Capavilla. Capavilla takes the tackle. And they're going to go to the left side again. The ball goes out to Sorensen. Long ball. Cuts out a couple, but the ball's hit the ground. Ricochets off the player's hands, and it's going to be a chance for the Devils to reset and to try and get some points on the board with 15 and a half minutes to go in this second half.
And things were building nicely, as we said, with the pressure there, but just a little bit of a rush of blood to the head and some nos running through the veins, and the long pass in the tough conditions unfortunately goes to ground. For the Devils here, it's going to get to the point soon where it's not going to be good enough in terms of taking one outs or only having one shot a set. They need to start setting up and trying to at least have 2 or 3 cracks a set.
Let's see. They've got to come up with something in this set of 6 or the next, because they've got a big hill to climb as they try and get this ball out of their own end. And a little bit of extra work while he's on the ground, the Devils player, but he gets to his feet and plays the ball. And Lungy is trying to get the ball out to the 20, but it's a wave of defence pushing him backwards. And the big fella, Talafo, in there holding down Lungy, and it's a penalty to the Devils.
Just the sort of piggyback you need, and with their backs turned, they opt not to go from touch. Centre field, and El Margi again. Great carry to start like that one off.
So he's got them outside the 30 on tackle 1. Savins puts his hand up for another carry, and he's backing into the defence and making 10 metres. They're going to go the short side. Well picked up there by Harpus. He noticed that the marker wasn't square and was able to scurry into his side of halfway. As Gunther this time goes forward, takes 3 to bring him to ground, but they're able to slow the speed of the play the ball down. The referee's going to let them get away with that one as they come to the short side and taking a dart as tidy man. He's breaking through one tackle, but they bring him to ground just outside the 20. Harpus goes to the right, gives it to Brown. Brown looked to kick and then gets the ball out to Dervisevic, and he's tackled. Now, he's lost that in the play the ball. Just trying to get his feet too quickly, and that's a coach killer, that one.
Yeah, and things were building quite nicely. They almost got him back through the field there when we were talking about before in the tough conditions, sometimes just playing short or drop plays back against the grain, and with a quick play the ball, a couple of play the balls left there, a chance to get a repeat set or bury him in a corner. The drop ball really took away the opportunity there to hopefully have a crack on that long left side, but to the wayside again, unfortunately.
What do we got to look forward to in our next game, Lewis?
Absolute belter. We've got the minor premiership on the line between 2 fantastic teams, and the top 3 all year have been quite dominant, but just, here we go, hold on.
Here we go, Jacob Saman's away. He's got pace, he's over the 40, over the 30, they're coming, but they won't get to him, and Jacob Saman splits them from the scrum and then runs and scores and gives his side now a lead they won't be giving up. They lead 22 points to 0, but showed some really nice wheels.
Definitely, and his work out of the backfield's been outstanding. Always keen to help out in yardage, involved in some of their shape as well. But this time, just a great carry. Burns his way through the line, takes on the fullback, and goes the distance for what will probably be the nail in the coffin for this one.
And Perrott will line up for another shot at goal. You just wonder whether the floodgates might open with 12 minutes to go in this game. We might see the Tigers have some fun in this last little bit. But Saman, we saw a great set of hands in the first half when he was able to pick up a kick that he put through and score, and then we've just seen that pace that he's got as well. So he's a good all-round player.
Yeah, most definitely. And again, still developing, still growing. You can see why he's part of the Eels development system, but whether it's on the wing or playing out at fullback, he's done a job every single time we've had him in the match of the round.
Perrott doesn't miss. 24-0. Very handy having a goal kicker of his skill in your team. Knocking them over from everywhere with the deadly left foot, and 24 points to 0. That try brought to you by Omnia Business Solutions for all your accounting, bookkeeping, consulting and payroll needs. Pretty slow walk back to halfway now for the Devils.
Yeah, well, like I said, I know they're going to play each other next week, and we talked about those scars. I've been able to throw that first punch, and for the Tigers here, they might want to go on with it and try and drop the hammer a bit further, but there is always next week.
So, yeah, big game coming up next where the minor premiership is on the line. Really looking forward to that one. We should see some highlight reel stuff in that game.
Yep, 2 ripper forward packs, 2 great sets of halves, and all around just chock full of talent. You've got the Wolves, who are stacked with a lot of kids that played year young, Harold Matthews, and part of the development system at the Balmain Tigers, and then Parramatta been pretty dominant in their age group the last couple of years. They might have 1 or 2 missing, but again, still chocked, especially their forward pack, with a lot of players in the Eels system, so it should be a belter of a battle.
Well, the Devils have given away a penalty from the kickoff in front of the kicker. So, well, the coach will be pulling the hair out. They trail by 24, and they're in all sorts of trouble here as the ball goes out to Talafo, and he's up towards the 30. And they're going to go to that left edge again as Sorensen goes for a run, tries to split them. He's just pulled down. If he was through that hole, it was curtains, he was away. But they are going to go back through Jackson. And Jackson is up over the 10, still wrestling his way towards the try line. They'll come back towards the middle. No, they get it back out to Lafo, and he's running at an angle, but can't split them. They're going to go the short side. Sorensen, quick hands. Can they get there? No. Just put the ball down. No one last tackle. They've been able to weather that one okay, the Devils.
Yeah, good defensive effort, but 1 metre out from your line here. Dangerous territory and line speed. Already a couple of play the balls here.
And they've really started to narrow up their defensive line as well. They've, their winger, Stockham, is basically just on that right edge of the post. So not much room to move for the Devils as they try and work this one out from their own end. Back through the middle is Savins. He gets the ball away. This gives them some second phase play as Harpus has tackled and wrestled to ground on the 30. Well, come back to the left-hand side again. Tidyman gets it back out to Brown, and not a lot of structure in the play, but it's going to work out for them because they're going to get a penalty.
Yeah, the scoot before from Harpus and the loose one there was almost a bit of a set saver, and then just an arm there by Mogridge with nothing in it to Riley Brown. Offers another chance, but I tell you what, if someone's going to sleep well tonight from the Devils, it will be El Marji.
Done a lot of work as they have their best chance of the second half as they go for another run. This time it's Eamon Dervisevich. He's tackled inside the 30 as the first man is tackled as Tidyman can't make up too much ground. They head back towards the centre, and Gunther, there's room for him. He busts through one, pushes away Saman, still going. They're going to try and pull him down. He's still wrestling with them, and he's tackled just short of the line. Now Harpus, he's got options both sides. Will he try himself? No. He goes out to Brown. Brown looks to pass and then goes for a scurry, and he's able to slide over and get the first points for the Devils of the afternoon. Deserved too. He's had a good game, Riley Brown.
Yeah, and Hayden Gunther not too far behind El Marji in terms of someone who will sleep well tonight. Good carry, runs that nice wide line and gets in behind the ruck. Burst his way through a couple before the play the ball comes there, and Riley Brown, as a good half should do, gets himself nice and wide. He had the option for run or pass, and in these wet conditions when you get defenders coming off the goal line sideways, just bounces off that right foot, gets low, and they finally cash in.
So 24-4 with less than 8 to play, and we're going to see Isaac El-Kadomi have a shot at conversion. A try brought to you by Omnia Business Solutions for all your accounting, bookkeeping, consulting and payroll needs. I think Perrett's in the 6 jersey for the Tigers and Riley Brown in the 6 jersey for the Devils. Both Sixers have had good games this afternoon.
Yeah, most definitely. And Parrott, like I said, for the most part, does a lot of it with his boot. Riley Brown likes to run the football, and he's part of the Dragons development system, so obviously some talent there. And like all people in this competition, you're trying to push your way in to try and get into that Eels setup. But great sixes on both sides, no doubt.
So that has been waved away, so no goal. And Tigers hold on to that 20-point lead. It's 24-4 in favour of Toongabbie. And Koinakis, see, going back out there. Yep. So, change being made. 6.5 minutes to go now as Perrott gets the ball up on the tee. Just having a few little issues. Don't think it'll get to the point where we saw in the NRL last week where the ball had to be held on the tee. Weather conditions aren't that bad as the ball goes down deep. And big chance here for... Oh, he has absolutely crunched Savins. So referee says good hit. Capavilla just lined him up and laid him out. as it's the Devils again going for another run. And now Muggy is trying to settle it down. That was a very strong shot. Gunther, he's decided to go for a run. Oh, and that's another high shot. Referee spotted that one. And let's hope this game doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah, we're certainly trying to leave them with a message that they're waiting for him next week, and that last one is the only try they're going to get, but a penalty here and a chance to go back on the march. But Capavilla, that was almost like something out of the NFL kickoff setup.
He launched like a missile as they slow play the ball again. But, they go out to Gunther, and he's able to get to the line, take a couple of defenders with him. But they're all over him to make sure that he can't get onto his feet quickly. As again, it's the Devils trying to just put a little bit more respectability into the score. They trail by 20, and coming back through the middle is Savins. Dump off on the inside. He's landed on his front. Just wrestling him, making sure he can't get that quick play the ball. They go to Brown. Brown dinks the ball over the top. Ball hits the turf. It's coming through. Now, they got there first, the Devils, but they've knocked it on. It was a nice little hip and shoulder, too, as he scooted through. And the referee's just going to call the knock on. But they had probably one of their better chances. Alex El-Khoury flying through on that right edge.
And similar to the first half, where the Tigers tried to do something similar, but obviously the kick was a little bit too big there, catching the winger up in the line because they've engaged with the half and the back rower, dinking one in, and if he gets his hands on that, that's certainly a 4-pointer, but unable to handle.
He's definitely asked some questions, Riley Brown. He's a handy footballer. Nice little kick over the top. As the Tigers just trying to soak up some more minutes off this clock. There's still 4 minutes to play. And at this stage, they're just hoping to get through unscathed. They already lost Tommy Jackson earlier in this half to an injury. He had to be chaired off the field. Fingers crossed he'll be right to go next week, as they, of course, are going to be involved against the Devils in the first week of the finals. So, back to the action. They give it to Capavilla, and Capavilla is putting the ball under the arm, going for a run, getting to his feet quickly, plays it. Long ball to Perrott. Perrott's able to corral it one-handed, gives it to Gabriel. Oh, and Gabriel cops a shot from Bustani. The referee's going to rule forward pass. So, again, Gabriel getting up and rubbing the head, but another strong piece of defence from the Devils.
Yeah, things break down a little bit there, but like you said, that's probably the big thing when you get to the back end of the game. Saman's been tended to by the trainer now. Malachi Setafano, the centre, also went off looking like he was limping maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago, so trying to preserve their troops, but certainly you don't want to be missing any bodies on a result that looks like it's pretty much already done for a finals game.
So they're going to go straight to the toe. Riley Brown puts one in over the top. They're chasing. Will the ball stay in the field of play? Great chase and a great try. No. In front of the kicker. Wow. Looked a great piece of work, but touch judges said Chaser was in front of the kicker and no try.
Well, I feel bad for El-Khoury. I thought he had the last one, but unable to handle, and this time looked like the world's fastest man, but a couple of step head start. The false start gun has fired, and he's been disqualified.
Again, Riley Brown, another good piece of play. Heads up, he put the ball in over the top, and unfortunately, his winger's job to stay onside, but the winger just not doing the right thing. So now, as the time ticks down, well, I would think we'd see a pretty slow end of this half and the end of this game of football with these two sides. And this is the third time they've met this season. Devils have won the first two, but the Tigers are going to win the third one. But in the end, the one that will matter will be next week when it's fourth playing fifth. So we're seeing another mistake, this time in the ruck, and it'll be a chance for the Devils to have their last shot with the football with a minute and a half to go.
I think from the Devils' perspective, they've obviously shown a lot this second half, particularly led by Gunther and El Marji. They've got themselves upfield. They've had those opportunities, but it's more about cashing in when you get yourself inside 20. But on the flip for the Tigers, obviously your big question mark is those fused bodies, if they're going to be healthy and ready to rumble. But all chips in next week, elimination final, there is no second chances.
Yeah, the old top five like we used to see in the rugby league back in the late 80s before they went to the 8-team final system with the minor premier getting the week off. So, of course, we will see the game for the minor premiership coming up in our next game here as part of Magic Round. As the ball goes out to Gunther, and he's running up and meeting the defence inside the 30 as Harpus comes back, and there's a little bit of ball play between a couple of the forwards as Elmagi is tackled just outside the 20. Harpus goes back to the right. Gunther, he's been very busy in this second half and takes another hit up and trying to get to his feet. 30 seconds to go. What have they got up their sleeve? Brown throws the ball out, a couple of passes wide. They get the ball out to Bustani, who's going to try and slide over, but great defence. The Tigers, they just herded him towards the sideline, and then they get up, and there's a bit of push and shove and a bit of feeling in this one.
Yeah, this is certainly not something you need. I know next week they're obviously going to come to blows, but literally trying to do so now is not the smartest thing with that finals game on the line. But boys will be boys, unfortunately, at times. Lots of testosterone, lots of feeling, and that full-time siren, hopefully, is the end of what we just saw.
So 24 points to 4 in favour of the Toongabbie Tigers. 2 tries to Jacob Saman, 1 to Tristan Gabriel, and 1 to Harrison Moses. Levi Perrott had a perfect day with the boot with 4 from 4, making up the 24 points for the Devils. Their 4 points came from Riley Brown. Still a little bit being said between the two teams here. Has the referee blown full time?
I think we might have a player or two called out potentially. The touch is obviously coming here, but like I said, no sense to escalate things any further from a play perspective. And if they have done so and something does come of it, it might cost yourself an opportunity, but there you go.
There goes full time. Referee is not going to take it any further after that little bit of a push and shove as Bustani was pushed into touch. I think the Tigers would have to be happy. They've got the questions answered that they needed before this game, and as long as they got their troops for next week, they're going to be pretty hard to beat against this Devils team.
Yeah, most definitely. And getting a couple of extras back on board besides those injuries certainly showed and helped a little bit today. A little bit clunky, but able to work through some of those kinks, and potentially another inclusion with CUC, the fullback. We'll have to wait and see. But the Devils, like I said, there's enough to take away from there, particularly the work of Elmagi, Riley Brown and Gunther in the second half. They've already got them twice this year, so we'll have round 4 next week, and this time someone's going home.
All right, well, that wraps up game 1 here at Kellyville, and we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with our second game of the afternoon. Lewis will be behind the microphone for that one, and the minor premiership going on the line in our next game as part of Magic Round.